So let's go on to our backs first of all, and I want you to come down, keep your knees bent, arms are relaxed by your side, have a nice wide stance with your feet onto the mat, or they might even be slightly off the mat. Keep the tuck, so keep your core engaged, so don't allow your back to arch and create this sort of space here. Keep your core engaged, and then you're going to allow your knees to fall down to one side and then the other. So it's a windscreen wiper action that we're doing, but you want to maintain that sort of core engagement throughout, rather than sort of passively going over. So if your legs fall with gravity and your back is arching as much as this, then you're not really engaging your core. So I want you to keep the core engaged as you control your legs from side to side. So it's a completely different sensation to just like falling. So you're controlling it, using the core and using the muscles around your hip just to bring you in and out of that windscreen wiper action. So the knees are falling to the same side, you're twisting through the waist, trying to keep your shoulder blades onto the mat. So head and shoulders don't move, you're just twisting through the waist. So if your shoulder is coming up too much, then you're obviously not engaging and zipping up the muscles through the core. And then bring your feet back, and this time I just want you to keep your feet together, knees together, and then allow both your knees to roll to the same side. Again, keeping your shoulders back and down, keeping your head looking upwards, using your core to bring yourself up. So use your tummy muscles. Don't just let gravity flop your legs down. So you're using the muscles to control the movement. You're slowly lowering your legs, and then you're slowly zipping them back up, using the muscles around your tummy and your core. So just mobilizing the spine, and just stretching, just waking everything up first. And then we're going to stop in the middle, bring one knee to your chest. If you bring your right leg to your chest, and then allow your left leg to straighten. So try and keep that as straight as possible. Try not to have like a bent knee. So really use your quad muscles on that leg that's lengthening. Bring your knee to your chest as sort of much as you can. So really pull it in towards your chest. So you feel a stretch going down the left leg, the straightening, and the stretch. So that should be like the front, and this is at the back of the thigh. So you should feel like the hip and the back of the thigh, maybe the adductors, maybe a little bit of compression through the front of the hip as you bring your knee towards your chest. And then we're going to bend and straighten the knee. Now you might not get a full straight knee. So if your hamstrings are tight, I mean, that's as far as I can go. You might even hear the little clicking of my knee there. I've got a little bit of grinding and clicking through my patella. And then we're just going to pause with it in the air. And I want you now just to flex, point and flex the foot. So mobilising the ankle joint as well. And making some circles with the foot. So even though we're doing sort of hip mobility and stretching, we're just warming up our whole body first of all, because it's early in the morning. And then if you bring your knee towards your chest again, hold it with the right hand. So right hand on right knee, and then we're making circles with the hip. So with the left hand, try and position the left hand on top of the bony bit of your pelvis, at the front of your pelvis on the left hand side. So you want to really sort of keep that down and just work through the hip joint, rather than, as you do circles, you're moving your body with it. So you don't want to sort of be bringing your body. Try and keep your body as still as you can by maintaining the core. So use your core muscles to keep your back still whilst you do circles with your hip joint. And then hold your right knee with your right hand. Bring your left hand down onto your ankle or your heel, around your ankle or your heel, and then twist so that you're rotating through the hip, and then try to bring the leg towards your body. So your head is elevated, your right knee is going towards your right shoulder, and the right foot is trying to go towards the left shoulder as you bring it up towards you. And then position that one back down. Bring the left leg up, allow the right one to go down. So now use your quad to really straighten that knee as much as you can, so you feel that sort of stretch come through the front part of your thigh, and then bring your left knee as close to your chest as possible. So we're just stretching here, so you should feel a stretch going down the front and then a stretch through the back of the left leg. And then allow your knee to bend and straighten. So you're still hugging behind the thigh. So bend and straighten that knee. Doesn't matter how straight the knee gets if your hamstrings are tight. And then keep the knee in the, well, as straight as you can. So keep the leg in the air and just point and flex the toes or the foot. Point and flex the foot. And then circles in one direction and circles in the other direction. And then if you bend the knee back down, bring your left hand onto your left knee. So your right hand is onto the side. So you're going to start doing these hip circles, but like we did with the other side, it might be worth you putting your hand on the bony bit of your pelvis on the right hand side, just so that you're maintaining that kind of spinal pelvic alignment, rather than as you do hip circles, your pelvis is coming with it. So you want to keep your spine and your pelvis in neutral whilst you're doing hip circles. So it's just a pure hip movement rather than a spine movement. And then bring that right knee towards your chest, reach down and hold onto the heel or the ankle of the other side, and then just try and twist your leg from the hip, bringing then your knee towards your left shoulder and your right foot towards your right shoulder. And then bring that back down. Allow both your feet to come together, maintaining the tuck of the tailbone. So try not to arch through your lower back. Arms are by your side, and then you're allowing your knees just to open up. So allow your knees to fall, but try not to have your back arched at the same time. So keep your back flat against the mat. Push your feet together, so you might even want to have a little bit of tension going between both your feet to allow yourself just to open up a little bit more. So it's more of an active stretch. And then maybe bring your arms into a cactus arm position. So you're going at 90 degrees, looking up, allowing your knees just to fall. Taking a few breaths here. Now this can be a nice position to just close your eyes, breathing in and out through your nose, slowing the breath down, and allowing yourself just to release and sink a bit further into the floor with your knees. So trying to let go. Because we also hold a lot of tension in our hips and our back through emotions and stress. Our hip flexor muscle, our iliopsoas, is very tight if we are stressed or in fight or flight mode or feeling anxious, because that muscle is preparing us to flee. So it's getting ready for action. So whenever we're feeling stressed or heightened, it can affect our hip mobility because that muscle goes tight. So just spending a bit of time opening everything up, relaxing, and even saying to yourself, you know, release, or maybe even a breath in and a sigh out. And as you sigh it out, allow your knees to just open and fall even further. Allow your arms, your shoulders to open up, the backs of your arms to sink into the floor a bit more. So we'll do that one more time. So breathing in through the nose, sigh it out. And on that sigh, everything just opens up a little bit more, sinks a bit more, relaxes a bit more, releases a bit more. Now bring your arms back down by your side, then bring your knees in, and I just want you to bring both your knees up to your chest, hold underneath your thighs, and just give yourself a back massage. So just rocking from side to side. And then bring yourself up into a sitting position. And now I just want you to come onto your knees, and we're going to bring one leg in front of the other. Now, this might be where you need your cushion, okay? So if you've got painful knees, then it might be worth kneeling on a cushion or a towel, or something a little bit softer. So we're going into that lunge position first of all. So a couple of checks to make. First of all, your pelvic bones are pointing forwards. So you're not twisted and they're pointing to the side. So these are your headlamps. Keep your headlamps pointing forwards. You're up through your spine, so you're keeping your posture upright rather than leaning over. Tucking the tailbone underneath you, so feel like your glutes are engaged. And then this front foot, you don't want your knee to be rolling in. You want to keep your knee in alignment when you're doing this, and your knee's not going over your toes either. So as you go deeper into the lunge, rather than going deeper and allowing your knee to go over your toes, just keep wiggling your foot forwards instead, so that you've still got that nice strong base and you're not going to irritate your knee. So we're in that lunge position, doing all our checks. That front foot as well, push downwards as if you're squashing a bunch of grapes into the floor. So make sure that this front leg is really nice and strong. You're tensing your glutes so that your pelvis isn't going into anterior tilt, and you're just allowing yourself to go deeper into that stretch. Really feeling the front of your thigh in that position. And maybe even say to yourself, relax, release, or even inhale, exhale, and on the exhale, sinking in a little bit deeper. And then I just want you to pop your forearm on your front thigh. So make sure you've got, a nice good stretch there that you can maintain. Forearm is on your front thigh, and then you're just bringing your arm up and over to deepen the stretch. Just breathe in here, keeping strong through that front leg, squashing your grapes. And then bring yourself out. And then I just want you to reach down. So you're going to bring your body weight now onto your back leg, and you're going to straighten that front leg just to feel the stretch through the hamstrings. So you can either hold yourself there or bring your hands down. And then we're going to swap to the other side. So bring the other leg forward, and let's just do your checks first of all. What's your pelvis doing? So keep your pelvic bones pointing forwards. Get the tuck. Wiggle that front foot so that you've got your knee alignment, so your knee is not going over toes. Squash your grapes with your front foot. So the front foot is going downward, pressing downwards so that you're strong in the leg. keeping the tuck of the glutes, and then just wiggling yourself forward with the front foot until you find that really nice stretch going through that back leg. So you should feel it all through the front part of your thigh and front part of your hip. Again, keep wiggling, keep using the exhale to go sink a little bit deeper. Keeping your body upright. And then when you feel like you've got your maximum stretch there, put your forearm onto your thigh, coming up and over. So you're reaching over with the other hand, get an extra stretch through the front part of your thigh and the side of your body. Every time you exhale, just see if you can sink a little bit deeper. And then bring yourself back. Allow yourself to sort of straighten that front knee and then coming down into that hamstring stretch. Looking forwards, trying to stick your bottom out. And then bring yourself up. So we're now going to be in a kneeling position, but one leg is going out to the side, the other knee, again, it can be on a cushion or not, it just depends on you, but if the floor is quite hard, it can be quite much on your knees really if you've got knee pain. So in this position, first of all I want you to do is come down with your hands. So your hands are now touching the floor, your toes are pointing forwards on that leg that you're stretching, and then you're just rocking forwards and back. So just feeling a stretch through the adductors. And then bring yourself up. And before we go into the next exercise, I just want you to tuck your tailbone underneath you. So even getting that squeeze of the glutes and bringing your pelvic position into neutral. You might even feel more of a stretch going through the front part of your groin and your hip flexors there just by doing that. So if your bottom is sticking out, it's going to feel completely different to when you bring it into a neutral position. And then using your core, I want you to slide down your thigh. You might have sort of fingertips onto like the side of your knee, or you might even come down a little bit deeper. If you've got a cushion like I have, you might come the side of your cushion, but you're not actually putting weight through that. So you just, fingertips are there, using your core, arm goes up and over and just stretching here. But you're not collapsing. So it's a nice active stretch. We're not passively going into it. You're using your core, using your glutes, using all your abdominal muscles to hold yourself. Bring yourself back, and then we're going to go the other way. So reaching long through the leg this time, keeping the tuck of the core, coming up and over the opposite way. So really feel like you're pushing your hip out as well. So your hip is going that way as well as tucking. So you're tucking the tailbone and trying to push it out to the side. And then just bring that back up. So swap sides. Again, you can either be with or without a cushion, it doesn't matter. So the leg is nice and long, so bent, kneeling on the one side, nice and long with the other, toes are pointing forwards, hands are coming down to the floor, and we're just moving forward and back. Feeling that stretch through the adductors. And then bring yourself up, and before we do anything, get the tuck of your tailbone. So squeeze your glutes, bring that tailbone into neutral. So you might even feel a sensation of like an extra stretch before you even start. And then we're going to come down to the side, the kneeling leg. Now you can either put your fingertips aside of your your knee, or if you've got a cushion like me, it can be the side of the cushion, but you're not putting weight through that. You're using your core to hold yourself there as you come up and over with your arm. So keep your core engaged, use all your muscles. It's a nice active stretch. And then use your core to bring yourself back up. Allow yourself to reach down long to the other side. Arm goes up and over, and you're trying to tuck your tailbone and then push your hip that way as you're sort of reaching towards the other way. So head is in neutral, and then bring yourself back. So this time, I just want you to go wide. So you're on your knees on both legs, but then we're going wide onto the mat. Hands are down, and we're just rocking side to side. So again, if this is intense on your knees, you might want 2 cushions underneath each knee, or maybe use a towel, or you could even roll up your mat. So rolling up your mat, so there's extra cushioning, so you could also do that if that's an option for you. And then bring your knees back in, and I want you now to come up into a kneeling position. I'm just going to go to the side so you can see. So tuck your tailbone underneath you, bring your hands to the back, and I just want you to arch over. Chin to chest, bring yourself back. Now we're going to do that again. If that is enough for you, just stay in that position. Or if you can, come down and reach down on top of your heel. Then we're going to reach down with our right side first. So do whichever version you can do. So you can either stay there or tuck your tailbone, come down, reach your right hand onto your right heel, and then bring your left arm up. So really squeeze the glutes, tense the buttocks in this position, and push your hips forward. And then bring yourself back up, and then we'll do the same on the other side. So get the tuck of the tailbone, keep that clench of your glutes before you start. Reach down, left hand to left heel, reaching up and over with the arm. Keep the squeeze of the glutes. Keep pushing and holding here. And then bring yourself back up. Well done. So we're now going to go back onto our backs. So just bring your knees towards your chest. Give yourself a little bit of a hug and a bit of a back massage. And then we're going to reach down to the insides of our feet, holding onto the insides of our feet and coming up into a happy baby position. So if it feels more comfortable for you to hold on to the front part of your toes, you can hold on there, or you can hold on the outer part. I'm just going to hold on to the inside of my foot, so around my instep, and then push my knees down towards my hips. So trying to open up the hips. Again, pause here, just breathe. Tell your hips to let go. And then let go. Bring your knees back down. Legs go long, full body stretch. And then bring yourself up into a sitting position. And we're going to be in a 90-degree position with our legs. So both our legs are bent at 90 degrees, but one is coming to the side and one is coming out to the front. And then we're going to forward fold over that front leg. So nose to knee, and just forward fold, feeling the stretch through the back of the glutes. Again, try and use the breath and the exhale to sink a bit deeper. And then bring yourself back up. And before we swap sides, all I want you to do is pop your left hand behind you and come up onto the hand and onto the front part of your shin bone and your knee, and just stretch here, clenching the glutes. Bring yourself back down, and then let's swap sides. So you're going at that 90-degree angle, you're forward folding over that front leg, trying to get your nose to your knee. Just telling yourself to let go, relax. Exhaling into the stretch. Releasing any tension you've got around your hip. Bring yourself back up, and then position your right hand behind. So the right leg is in front, and then we're going up and just stretching here. So feel like you're tensing your glutes. You're reaching up long with your arm, putting weight through the lower leg and the knee, and then bringing yourself back down. And then just go into a sitting position. Bring your toes together, grab hold around your toes, and I mean, you can see that I haven't got a huge amount of hip range here. And, you know, that is quite normal for a lot of us who are, you know, coming up to 50 and we've been running a lot. It is quite normal to have stiffness in our joints. But what we want to try and do is obviously make sure we've got enough mobility and flexibility to keep us going for life. So pushing your elbows into your knees and pushing the knees down, opening up the thighs. And then bringing yourself back. Again, widen your feet onto the floor. Allow yourself to come back onto your hands. So you're leaning back on your hands. And we're just going to go from side to side with our windscreen wipers, but in a sitting position now. And then bring your legs straight. Give your legs a little bit of a wiggle, a bit of a shake. And we finish our session.